The Wild Geese Players of Seattle present the Sirens chapter from James Joyce's Ulysses. And you can see the two sirens standing on the shore, Miss Douce, bronze, and Miss Kennedy, gold.
This is the title song from the opera, Martha. When first I saw that form endearing, sorrow from me seemed to depart. Each graceful look, each word so cheering, charmed my eye and won my heart. Full of hope and all delighted, none could feel more blessed than I. All on earth I then could wish for was for her to live and die. But alas, 'twas idle dreaming, and the dream too soon hath flown. Not one ray of hope is gleaming. I am lost, yes, I am lost, for she.
Well, thank you everybody for enjoying the reading with us. This year's chapter was the Sirens, and your readers were narrators Claudia Finn, Irene Calvo, Bruce Greeley, and Ian Edgewater. Miss Lydia Bronze Douce was Olivia Birmingham McDonough. Miss Mina Gold Kennedy was read by Ellen Coyle. Bloom was read by Maura Donegan. Bloom Interior was read by Mark Gunning and Maura Donegan. Simon Dedalus was read by Bill Barnes. Lenihan was read by Leon Matagosh. Blazes Boylan and Ben Dollard were read by me, Joseph Ryan. Father Cowley was read by Lynn Compton. George Lidwell was read by Leon Matagosh. Richie Golding was read by Roger Berger. Boots was read by Joseph Ryan. Robert Emmett by Bill Barnes. Tom Kernan by Roger Berger. Stripling by Roger Berger. Shop Girl by Ellen Coyle. And the conductor was Roger Berger. Our production people were co-director Lynn Compton, co-director Roger Berger, script George Riley, recorder Joseph Ryan, recording editor Helen Brew, publicity Claudia Finn, George Riley. The poster was painted by Ellen Coyle and modified and updated with our schedule by Leon Matagosh and Claudia Finn. And special thanks to Matthew Donegan Ryan. And now we'll finish with an oft-referenced song from the chapter, The Crappie Boy, which will be sung by Bill Barnes. Go ahead, Bill.
Good men and true in this house do dwell. To a stranger buccal I pray you tell. Is a priest at home, or may he be seen? I would speak a word with Father Green. At the siege of Ross did my father fall, and at Gorey my loving brothers all. I alone am left to my name and race. I will go to Wexford to take their place. I bear no hate against living thing, but I love my country above my king. Now, Father, bless me and let me go to die if God has ordained it so. At Geneva barracks that young man died, and at Passage they have his body laid. Good people who live in peace and joy, breathe a prayer, shed a tear for the Crappie Boy. He is gone. When first I saw that form enduring, sorrow from me seemed to depart. Each graceful look, each word so cheering, charmed my eye and won my heart. Martha, Martha, I am sighing, I am weeping still for thee. Come, thou lost one, come, thou dear one, thou alone canst comfort me. Come, Martha, return, come to me.
That was Bill Barnes. He'll be Simon Dedalus and Robert Emmett in this year's reading. I'm Roger Berger. Along with Lynn Compton, I have the pleasure of co-directing this year's Bloomsday reading from James Joyce's Ulysses by the Wild Geese Players of Seattle. This is the 23rd year in which we've had the opportunity to read from this wonderful novel. We shall be reading Sirens, the 11th and most musical chapter in the book. The day, of course, is June 16th, 1904. The place, Dublin, Ireland. The time, 4 p.m., the crucial time when Leopold Bloom's wife, Molly Bloom, is supposed to have her rehearsal meeting assignation with the dashing but irremediably shallow Blazes Boylan at the Bloom's Eccles Street apartment, a meeting Bloom has been dreading all day. On his way to purchase some stationery to respond to his increasingly flirtatious pen pal, Martha Clifford, Bloom spies Boylan stopping at the Ormond Hotel saloon, and confused by this, dragoons Richie Goulding, Stephen Dedalus's uncle, into accompanying him to the hotel's adjoining restaurant to eat an early dinner to keep an eye on Boylan and possibly even confront him. Thus, in a book in which nothing much happens, the chapter hints that it might actually provide a plot-driven confrontation. But what truly makes this chapter a tour de force is its structure and formal aspects. As Joyce told a friend in Zurich after he completed the chapter, quote, "I wrote this chapter with the technical resources of music. It is a fugue with all the musical notations, piano, forte, rallentando, and so on. A quintet occurs in it too, as in Die Meistersinger, my favorite Wagnerian opera. Like a fugue, the chapter alternates between the expository action in the saloon, in which other characters drift in one by one, greeted by two young barmaids, and where much drinking, singing, daydreaming, and flirting occur, and the contrapuntal response non-action of the restaurant, where Bloom has selected a strategically located table to keep an eye on Boylan and listen to the songs coming from the saloon. Mixed in with these two main parts are the sub-themes of Boylan leaving and driving to the Bloom's apartment, and an irritated blind piano tuner returning to the saloon where he has left his tuning fork. Joyce has also included a number of what would have been well-known songs in the chapter, as well as conscious or offhand allusions to opera, Irish folk and political songs, and other musical pieces, along with an opening section that some have described as musical instruments warming up, or as a kind of opera-like overture that provides a short review of the entire chapter. Sirens additionally brings in many references, which we mainly encounter in Bloom's thoughts, to earlier parts of the book. I'll mention just two of the more obscure ones. In a couple of places, Bloom mentions the words, "met him pike hoses," something that Molly asked him about that morning, which she saw in one of her semi-pornographic romances. It's actually the word metempsychosis, which Bloom then incorrectly explained to her. Bloom also thinks about his high-grade ha. That refers to what is printed on the inner band of Bloom's bowler hat, where the T has worn off, thus hat has become ha. It's important because that's where Bloom has hidden a card with Martha Clifford's address on it. Two more things and then we'll begin. First, to find out more information about us, especially about future readings, please go to our website, www wildgeeseseattle.org. Second, obviously, due to the current exigent circumstances, instead of offering a live reading in front of an audience, we have recorded and are presenting this year's reading digitally, a Bloomsday Zoom day, as a friend of ours, Riley, suggested. This is quite a change and clearly a challenge, but we hope that in this unusual format, we will still be able to convey the essence of Joyce's work. At the same time, we remain confident that some things have not changed. Joyce's enduring work itself, and our own enduring love and admiration for it. And now, please enjoy Sirens from James Joyce's Ulysses, and thank you so much for joining us.
Bronze by gold, heard the hoof irons steely ringing.
Chips, picking chips off rocky thumbnail, chips.
Horrid.
And gold flushed more.
A husky fife note blew.
Bloom is on the
Gold pinnacled hair.
a jumping rose on satiny breast of satin, Rose of Castile.
Drilling, idolores.
Peep. Who's in the peep of gold?
Tink cried to Bronze in pity.
And a call, pure, long, and throbbing.
Long and dying call, decoy, soft word, but look, the bright stars fade. Notes chirping answer. Oh, Rose, Castile, the morn is breaking.
Jingle, jingle, jaunted, jingling.
Coin rang, clock clacked.
A vowel. Sone. I could. Rebound of garter. Not leave thee. Smack. La cloche. Thigh smack. Warm. A vowel. Sweetheart. Goodbye.
Jingle.
Blue,
Boomed crashing chords.
when love absorbs. War, the tympanum. A sail, a veil, a wave upon the waves. Lost, throstle fluted, all is lost now.
Horn. Hawthorn.
When first he saw,
Alas, full tup, full throb.
warbling,
Allure, alluring. Martha, come.
Clap, clap, clip, clap, clappy, clap.
Good God, he never heard in all.
deaf-bald Pat brought pad knife took up.
A moonlit night call, far, far. I feel so sad. P.S. So lonely, blooming.
Listen.
The spiked and winding cold sea horn. Have you the each and for the other plash and silent roar? Pearls when she lists rhapsodies. You don't? Did not. No. Believe. Lid.
With the cock, with the cara.
Black, deep sounding.
Do, Ben, do.
Wait while you wait. Hee. Wait while you hee. But wait. Low and dark Middle Earth, embedded ore.
Nomine, domine.
All gone, all fallen.
Tiny, her tremulous fern foils of maiden hair.
Amen. He gnashed in fury.
Fro, to, fro, a baton cool protruding.
Bronze Lydia by Mina Gold.
By bronze, by gold, in ocean green of shadow, bloom, old bloom.
One rapped, one tapped, with a cara, with a cock.
Pray for him. Pray, good people.
His gouty fingers knackering.
Big Ben, Big Ben.
Last rose Castile of summer left bloom. I feel so sad, alone. Whee, little wind, pipe twee. True men, lid, car, cow, day and doll. I, like you men, will lift your chink with chunk. Where bronze from a near, where gold from afar, where hoofs.
Crandall.
Then, not till then, my epitaph be frit.
Done.
Begin.
Bronze by gold, Miss Douce's head by Miss Kennedy's head, over the cross-blind of the Ormond bar, heard the vice-regal hoofs go by, ringing steel.
Is that her?
Asked Miss Kennedy.
Miss Douce said,
Yes, sitting with his ex, Pearl Grey and Eau de Nil.
Exquisite contrast.
when all agog, Miss Douce said eagerly,
Look at the fellow in the tall silk.
Whoa, where?
Gold asked more eagerly.
In the second carriage.
Miss Douce's wet lips said, laughing in the sun.
He's looking. Mind till I see.
She darted, Bronze, to the backmost corner, flattening her face against the pane in a halo of hurried breath. Her wet lips tittered.
He's killed looking back. Oh, wept. Aren't men frightful idiots?
With sadness, Miss Kennedy sauntered sadly from bright light, twining a loose hair behind an ear. Sauntering sadly, gold no more, she twined a hair. Sadly, she twined in sauntering gold hair behind a curving ear.
It's them has the fine times.
Sadly, then she said.
A man, blue, who went by Mouling's pipes, bearing in his breast the sweets of sin, by wine's antiques, in memory bearing sweet sinful words, by Carol's dusky battered plate, for Raoul.
The boots to them in the bar, them barmaids came. For them unheeding him, he banged on the counter his tray of chattering china, and
There's your teas.
Miss Kennedy, with manners transposed the tea tray down to an upturned lithia crate, safe from eyes, low.
What is it?
Loud Boots unmannerly asked.
Find out.
Miss Douce retorted, leaving her spying point.
Your beau, is it?
A haughty Bronze replied.
I'll complain to Mrs. DeMassey on you if I hear any more of your impertinent insolence.
Boots' snout sniffed rudely as he retreated, as she threatened, as he had come.
Bloom.
On her flower frowning, Miss Douce said,
Most aggravating that young brat is. If he doesn't conduct himself, I'll wring his ear for him a yard long.
Ladylike in exquisite contrast.
Take no notice,
Miss Kennedy rejoined. She poured in a teacup tea, then back in the teapot tea. They cowered under their reef of counter, waiting on footstools, crates upturned, waiting for their teas to draw. They pawed their blouses, both of black satin, 2 and 9 a yard, waiting for their teas to draw, and 2 and 7.
Yes, bronze from anear, by gold from afar, heard steel from anear, hoofs ring from afar, and heard steel hoofs, ring hoof, ring steel.
Am I awfully sunburnt?
Miss Bronze unbloused her neck.
No, it gets brown after. Did you try the borax with the cherry laurel water?
Miss Douce half stood to see her skin askance in the bar mirror, gilded lettered, where hock and claret glasses shimmered, and in their midst a shell.
And leave it to my hands.
Try it with the glycerin.
Bidding her neck and hands adieu, Miss Douce,
Those things only bring out a rash.
replied, reseated.
I asked that old fogey in Boyd's for something for my skin.
Miss Kennedy, pouring now full-drawn tea, grimaced and prayed.
Oh, don't remind me of him, for mercy's sake.
But wait till I tell you.
Miss Douce entreated.
Sweet tea, Miss Kennedy, having poured with milk, plugged both 2 ears with little fingers.
No, don't. I won't listen.
Bloom.
Miss Douce grunted in snuffy fogey's tone.
For your what? Says he.
Miss Kennedy unplugged her ears to hear, to speak, but said, but prayed again.
Don't let me think of him or I'll expire. The hideous old wretch, that night in the ancient concert rooms.
She sipped distastefully her brew, hot tea, a sip, sipped sweet tea.
Here he was.
Miss Douce said, cocking her bronze head 3/4, ruffling her nose wings.
Huffa, huffa.
Shrill shriek of laughter sprang from Miss Kennedy's throat.
Oh, no.
Miss Douce huffed and snorted down her nostrils that quivered impertinent like a snout in quest.
Ah, will you ever forget his goggle eye?
Miss Douce chimed in deep bronze laughter, shouting,
Ha! And your other eye.
Blue's dark eye read Aaron Figatner's name.
Why do I always think fig-gather? Gathering figs, I think. And Prosper Horace's Huguenot name.
By Bassie's Blessed Virgins, Bloom's dark eyes went by.
Blue-robed, white under, come to me. God, they believe she is, or goddess. Those today I could not see. That fellow spoke, a student, after with Douglas's son. He might be Mulligan. All comely virgins. That brings those rakes of fellows in. How white?
Why went his eyes?
The sweets of sin. Sin are the sweets.
Of sin.
In a giggling peal, young gold bronze voices blended, Deuce with Kennedy.
Your other eye.
They threw their young heads back, bronze giggle gold, to let free fly their laughter, screaming,
Your other.
Signals to each other, high piercing notes.
Ah.
Panting, sighing.
sighing.
Ah.
For done, their mirth died down.
Miss Kennedy lipped her cup again, raised, drank a sip, and giggled.
Miss Douce, bending over the tea tray, ruffled again her nose and rolled droll, fattened eyes.
Again Kenny giggles, stooping, her fair pinnacles of hair, stooping, her tortoise nape comb showed, spluttered out of her mouth her tea, choking in tea and laughter, coughing with choking, crying.
Oh, greasy eyes! Imagine being married to a man like that, with his bit of a beard.
Douce gave full vent to a splendid yell, a full woman, delight, joy, indignation.
Married to the greasy nose.
Shrill with deep laughter, after, gold after bronze, they urged each to peal after peal, ringing in changes, bronze, gold, gold, bronze, shrill deep, to laughter after laughter, and then laughed more.
Greasy eye nose.
Exhausted, breathless, their shaken heads they laid, braided and pinnacled by glossy combed against the counter ledge, all flushed.
Oh.
Panting, sweating.
Oh.
All breathless.
Married to Bloom, to Grease Bloom.
Oh, saints above.
Miss Douce said, sighed above her jumping rose.
I wish I hadn't laughed so much. I feel all wet.
Oh, Miss Douce, you horrid thing.
And flushed yet more.
You horrid.
More goldenly.
By Cantwell's offices rode Grease Bloom, by Seppi's virgins, bright of their oils.
The Letty's father hawked those things about, wheedling at doors, as I. Religion pays. Must see him for that par. I eat first. I want, not yet, at 4, she said. Time ever passing, clock hands turning. Where eat? The Clarence? Dolphin? On. For Raoul. Eat. If I net 5 guineas with those ads, the violet silk petticoats, not yet. The sweets of sin.
Flushed less, still less, goldenly paled.
Into their bar strolled Mr. Daedalus. Chips, picking chips off one of his rocky thumbnails. Chips, he strolled.
Oh, welcome back, Miss Douce.
He held her hand. Enjoyed her holidays?
Tip-top.
He hoped she had nice weather in Ross Trevor.
Gorgeous. Look at the holy show I am, lying out on the strand all day.
Bronze whiteness.
That was exceedingly naughty of you.
Mr. Daedalus told her and pressed her hand indulgently.
Tempting poor simple males.
Miss Douce of Satin douced her arm away.
Oh, go away. You're very simple, I don't think.
He was.
Well, now I am. I look so simple in the cradle they christened me Simple Simon.
You must have been a doty. And what did the doctor order today?
Well, now, whatever you say yourself. I think I'll trouble you for some fresh water and a half glass of whiskey.
Jingle.
With the greatest alacrity.
With grace of alacrity, toward the mirror, gilt Cantrell and Cochrane's, she turned herself. With grace, she tapped a measure of gold whiskey from her crystal keg.
Forth from the skirt of his coat, Mr. Daedalus brought his pouch and pipe.
Alacrity, she served.
He blew through the flue 2 husky fife notes.
By Jove, I often wanted to see the Mourne Mountains. Must be a great tonic in the air down there. But a long threatening comes at last, they say. Yes, yes.
Yes, he fingered shreds of hair, her maiden hair, her mermaids, into the bowl. Chips, shreds, musing mute. None not said nothing. Yes.
Gaily, Miss Douce polished a tumbler, trilling,
Oh, my Dolores, queen of the eastern seas.
Was Mr. Lidwell in today?
In came Lenehan. Round him peered Lenehan.
Mr. Bloom reached Essex Bridge. Yes, Mr. Bloom crossed Bridge of Yessex.
To Martha I must write, by paper, dailies, girl there is civil.
Bloom, old Bloom, Blue Bloom is on the rye.
He was in at lunchtime.
Lenin came forward.
Was Mr. Boylan looking for me?
Miss Kennedy, was Mr. Boylan in while I was upstairs?
Miss Voice of Kennedy answered, a second teacup poised, her gaze upon a page.
No, he was not.
Miss Gaze of Kennedy heard, not seen, read on.
Lenehan round the sandwich bell wound his round body round.
Peep, who's in the corner?
No glance of Kennedy rewarding him, he yet made overtures.
To mind her stops, to read only the black ones, round O and crooked S.
Jingle, jaunty jingle.
Girl Gold she read and did not glance.
Take no notice.
She took no notice, while he read by rote a solfa fable for her, clappering flatly.
A fox met a stork. Said the fox to the stork, will you put your bill down in my troth and pull up a bone?
He droned in vain.
Miss Douce turned to her tea aside.
He sighed aside.
Ah me, oh my.
He greeted Mr. Dedalus and got a nod.
Greetings from the famous son of a famous father.
Who may he be?
Lenehan opened most genial arms.
Who? Who may he be? Can you ask? Stephen, the youthful bard.
Dry. Mr. Dedalus' famous father laid by his dry-filled pipe.
I see. I didn't recognize him for the moment. I hear he's keeping very select company. Have you seen him lately?
He had.
I quaffed the nectar bowl with him this very day, in Mooney's on Ville and in Mooney's sur Mer. He had received the rhino for the labor of his muse.
He smiled at Bronze's tea-bathed lips, at listening lips and eyes.
The elite of Erin hang upon his lips. The ponderous pundit, Hugh McHugh, Dublin's most brilliant scribe and editor, and that minstrel boy of the Wild West, who is known by the euphonious appellation of the O'Madden Burke.
After an interval, Mr. Dedalus raised his grog and...
That must have been highly diverting. I see.
He drank, with faraway morning mountain eye, set down his glass. He looked towards the saloon door.
I see you have moved the piano.
The tuner was in today, tuning it up for the smoking concert, and I never heard such an exquisite player.
Is that a fact?
Didn't he, Miss Kennedy? The real classical, you know. And blind, too, poor fellow. Not 20, I'm sure he was.
Is that a fact?
He drank and strayed away.
So sad to look at his face.
Miss Douce condoled.
God's curse on bitch's bastard.
Tink, to her pity, cried a diner's bell.
To the door of the bar and dining room came bald Pat, came bothered Pat, came Pat, waiter of Ormond, lager for diner.
Lager without alacrity, she served.
With patience, Lenehan waited for Boylan, with impatience, for Jingle Jaunty Blazes boy.
Upholding the lid, he...
Who?
Gazed in the coffin.
Coffin?
At the oblique triple...
Piano.
Wires he pressed.
The same who pressed indulgently her hand.
Soft pedaling a triple of keys, to see the thicknesses of felt advancing, to hear the muffled hammer fall in action.
2 sheets cream, vellum paper, 1 reserve, 2 envelopes, when I was in Wisdom Healy's.
Wise Bloom and Daly's Henry Flower bought.
Are you not happy in your home? Flower to console me, and a pin cuts low, means something. Language of flower. Was it a daisy? Innocence, that is. Respectable girl, meet after mass. Thanks awfully muchly.
Wise Bloom eyed on the door. A poster, a swaying mermaid smoking, mid nice waves.
Smoke mermaids, coolest whiff of all. Hair streaming, lovelorn, for some man, for Raoul.
He eyed and saw afar on Essex Bridge a gay hat riding on a jaunting car.
It is, again, third time. Coincidence.
Jingling on supple rubbers, it jaunted from the bridge to Ormond Quay.
Follow. Risk it. Go quick. At 4, near now. Out.
Tuppence, sir.
The shop girl dared to say.
Ah, I was forgetting. Excuse.
And 4.
At 4, she...
Winsomely, she on blue him who smiled.
Blue smee key go, ternoon.
Think you're the only pebble on the beach? Does that to all, for men.
In drowsy silence, Gold bent on her page.
From the saloon a call came, long and dying. That was a tuning fork the tuner had, that he forgot, that he now struck. A call again, that he now poised, that it now throbbed.
You hear?
It throbbed, pure, pure, softly and softlier, its buzzing prongs, longer in dying call.
Pat paid for Diner's pop-corked bottle, and over tumbler, tray and pop-corked bottle, ere he went, he whispered, bald and bothered with Miss Deuce.
The bright stars fade.
A voiceless song sang from within, singing,
The morn is breaking.
a duodene of bird notes chirped bright treble answer under sensitive hands. Brightly the keys all twinkling, linked, all harpsichording, called to a voice to sing the strain of dewy morn, of youth, of love's leave-taking, life's love's morn.
The dewdrops pearl.
Lenehan's lips over the counter lisped a low whistle of decoy.
But look this way, Rose of Castile.
Jingle jaunted by the curb and stopped.
She rose and closed her reading. Rose of Castile, fretted, forlorn, dreamily rose.
Did she fall or was she pushed?
She answered, slighting.
Ask no questions and you'll hear no lies.
Like lady, ladylike.
Blazes Boylan's smart tan shoes creaked on the bar floor where he strode.
Yes, gold from an ear, by bronze from afar.
Lenehan heard and knew and hailed him.
See, the conquering hero comes.
Between the car and window, warily walking, went Bloom, unconquered hero.
See me, he might. The seat he sat on, warm.
Black wary he-cat walked toward Richie Goulding's legal bag, lifted aloft, saluting.
And I from thee.
I heard you were around,
said Blazes Boylan. He touched to fair Miss Kennedy a rim of his slanted straw.
She smiled on him.
But Sister Bronze outsmiled her, preening for him, her richer hair, a bosom, and a rose.
Smart Boylan bespoke potions.
What's your cry? Glass of bitter? Glass of bitter, please, and a slow gin for me. Wire in yet?
Not yet. At 4, she... Who said 4?
Cowley's, red lugs, and bulging apple in the door of the sheriff's office.
Avoid. Goulding, a chance. What's he doing in the Ormond? Car waiting. Wait.
Oh,
Where off to?
something to eat.
I too was just.
In here.
What, Ormond?
Best value in Dublin.
Is that so?
Dining room.
Sit tight there. See, not be seen.
I think I'll join you. Come on.
Richie led on.
Bloom followed bag.
Dinner fit for a prince.
Miss Deuce reached high to take a flagon, stretching her satin arm, her bust, that all but burst, so high.
Oh. Oh.
Chirruped to Lenehan, gasping at each stretch.
Oh.
But easily she seized her prey and let it low in triumph.
Why don't you grow?
Asked Blazes Boylan.
She Bronze, dealing from her oblique jar, thick syrupy liquor for his lips, looked as it flowed.
Flower in his coat. Who gave him?
And syruped with her voice.
Fine goods in small parcels.
That is to say, she, neatly, she poured, slow syrupy slow.
Here's fortune.
He pitched a broad coin down. Coin rang.
Hold on till I... Fortune.
He wished, lifting his bubbled ale.
Scepter will win in a canter.
I plunged a bit.
said Boylan, winking and drinking.
Not on my own, you know. A fancy of a friend of mine.
Linehan still drank and grinned at his tilted ale and,
At Miss Douce's lips that all but hummed, not shut, the ocean song, her lips had trilled.
Hiding doors, these string seas.
clock word.
Miss Kennedy passed their way,
Flower.
bearing away tea tray.
Clock clacked.
Miss Douce took Boylan's coin, struck boldly the cash register.
It clanged.
Clock clacked.
Fair one of Egypt teased and sorted in the till, and hummed and handed coins and change.
Look to the west.
A clack.
For me.
What time is that? 4?
O'clock. Lenehan, small eyes, a hunger on her humming, bust a humming, tugged Blazes Boylan's elbow sleeve.
Let's hear the time.
The bag of Golding Collis Ward led Bloom by rye bloom flowered tables.
Aimless, he chose with agitated aim, bald Pat attending, a table near the door.
Be near. At 4. Has he forgotten? Perhaps a trick. Not come. Whet appetite. I couldn't do. Wait.
Pat, waiter, waited.
Sparkling bronze azure eyed Blazure's sky blue bow and eyes.
Go on.
Pressed Lenehan.
There's no one. He never heard.
To Flora's lips did high.
High, a high note pealed in the treble clear.
Bronze Douce, communing with her rose that sank and rose, sought Blazes Boylan's flower and eyes.
Please, please.
He pleaded over returning phrases of a vowel.
I could not leave thee.
Afterwards.
Miss Douce promised coyly.
No, now. Sonne la cloche. Oh, do. There's no one.
She looked, quick. Miss Ken out of earshot, sudden bent.
2 kindling faces watched her bend.
Quavering, the cord strayed from the air, found it again, lost cord, and lost, and found it faltering.
Go on, do. Sonne.
Bending, she nipped a peak of skirt above her knee, delayed, taunted them, still, bending, suspending, with willful eyes.
Sonne.
Smack! She set it free, sudden in rebound, her nipped elastic garter. Smack warm against her smackable, a woman's warm-hosed thigh.
La cloche. Trained by owner. No sawdust there.
She smirked, supercilious,
Wept aren't men.
but, lightward gliding, mild, she smiled on Boylan.
You're the essence of vulgarity.
She, in gliding, said.
Boylan eyed. Tossed to fat lips his chalice, drink off his chalice tiny, sucking the last fat violet syrupy drops. His spellbound eyes went after her gliding head as it went down the bar by mirrors, gilded arch for ginger ale, hock and claret glasses shimmering, a spiky shell where it concerted, mirrored, bronze with sunnier bronze.
Yes, bronze from a nearby.
Sweetheart, goodbye.
I'm off,
said Boylan with impatience. He slid his chalice brisk away, grasped his change.
Wait a shake.
Begged Lenehan, drinking quickly.
I wanted to tell you, Tom Rochford.
Come on to Blazes,
said Blazes Boylan, going. Lenehan gulped to go.
Got the horn on or what? Wait, I'm coming.
He followed the hasty creaking shoes, but stood by nimbly by the threshold, saluting forms, a bulky with a slender.
How do you do, Mr. Dollard?
Eh? Oh, how do?
Ben Dollard's vague bass answered, turning an instant from Father Cowley's woe.
He won't give you any trouble, Bob. Alf Bergen will speak to the Longfellow. We'll put a barley straw on that Judas Iscariot's ear this time.
Fine, Mr. Dedalus came through the saloon, a finger soothing an eyelid.
Oh, we will.
Ben Dollard yodeled jollily.
Come on, Simon, give us a ditty. We heard the piano.
Bald Pat, bothered waiter, waited for drink orders.
Power for Richie.
And Bloom?
Let me see. Oh, not make him walk twice. His corns. 4 now. Warm, how warm this black is. Coarse nerves a bit. Refracts, is it? Heat?
Let me see. Cider. Yes, bottle of cider.
What's that? I was only vamping, man.
Come on, come on. Begone, dull care. Come, Bob.
He ambled Dollard, bulky slops, before them.
Hold that fellow with the... Hold him now.
Into the saloon. He plumped him, Dollard, on the stool. His gouty paws plumped cords. Plumped, stopped abrupt. Bald Pat in the doorway met tealess gold returning. Bothered, he wanted power and cider.
Bronze by the window watched, Bronze from afar.
Jingle-a-tinkle jaunted.
Bloom heard a jing, a little sound.
He's off.
Light sob of breath. Bloom cried on the silent blue-hued flowers.
Jingling.
He's gone.
Jingle.
Here.
Love and war, Ben. God be with old times.
Miss Juice's brave eyes, unregarded, turned from the crossblind, smitten by sunlight.
On.
Pensive.
Who knows?
Smitten.
The smiting light.
She lowered the drop blind with the sliding cord. She drew down, pensive.
Why did he go so quick? When I...
About her, Bronze over the bar.
Where Bald stood by Sister Gold, inexquisite contrast. Contrast, inexquisite, non-exquisite. Slow, cool, dim, sea green, sliding depth of shadow. Oh, Daniil.
Poor old Goodwin was the pianist that night.
Father Cowley reminded them.
There was a slight difference of opinion between himself and the girl Lord Grand.
There was.
A symposium all his own. The devil wouldn't stop him. He was a crotchety old fellow in the primary stage of drink.
God, do you remember?
Then bulky Dollard said, turning from the punished keyboard.
And by japers, I had no wedding garment.
They laughed, all three.
He had no wed.
All trio laughed.
No wedding garment.
Our friend Bloom turned in handy that night. Where's my pipe, by the way?
He wandered back to the bar, to the lost cord pipe.
Bald Pat carried 2 diners' drinks, Richie and Poldy.
And Father Cowley laughed again.
I saved the situation, Ben, I think.
You did. I remember those tight trousers too. That was a brilliant idea, Bob.
Father Cowley blushed to his brilliant purply lobes. He saved the situation. Tight trow. Brilliant idea.
I knew he was on the rocks. The wife was playing the piano in the Coffee Palace on Saturdays for a very trifling consideration. And who was it gave me the wheeze? She was doing the other business. Do you remember? We had to search all Hollis Street to find them till the chap in Keogh's gave us the number, remember?
Ben remembered, his broad visage wandering.
By God, she had some luxurious opera cloaks and things there.
Mr. Dedalus wandered back, pipe in hand.
Merrion Square style. Ball dresses, by God, and court dresses. He wouldn't take any money either. What? Any God's quantity of cocked hats and boleros and trunk hose? What?
Aye. Mrs. Marion Bloom has left off clothes of all descriptions.
Jingle jaunted down the quays. Blazes sprawled on bounding tires.
Liver and bacon, steak and kidney pie. Right, sir. Right, Pat.
Mrs. Marion, met him pike hoses. Smell of burn, of Paul de Kock. Nice name he.
What's this her name was? Buxom lassie. Marion?
Tweedy.
Yes. Is she alive?
And kicking.
She was a daughter of...
Daughter of the regiment.
Yes, begad. I remember the old drum major.
Mr. Dedalus struck, whizzed, lit, puffed, savory puff after.
Irish? I don't know, Faith. Is she, Simon?
Puff after stiff, a puff, strong, savory, crackling.
Buxonator muscle is... What? Bit rusty. Oh, she is. My Irish Molly-o.
He puffed a pungent, plumy blast.
From the Rock of Gibraltar, all the way.
They pined in depth of ocean shadow, gold by the beer pull, bronze by maraschino, thoughtful all two. Mina Kennedy, Ford Lismore Terrace, Drumcondra, with I Dolores, a queen, Dolores, silent.
Pat served uncovered dishes.
Leopold cut liver slices. As said before, he ate with relish the inner organs, nutty gizzards, fried cod's roes, while...
Richard Golding, Collis Ward, ate steak and kidney, steak, then kidney. Bite by bite of pie he ate. Bloom ate, they ate.
Bloom with Golding, married in silence ate. Dinner's fit for princes.
By bachelor's walk, jaunty jingle blazes boilin', bachelor. In sun and heat, mare's glossy rump a trot, with flick of whip on bounding tires. Sprawled, warm-seated, boilin' impatience, ardent bold, horn. Have you the horn? Have you the ha-ha horn? Over their voices, dollard bassooned attack, booming over bombarding chords.
When love absorbs my ardent soul.
Roll of Ben Sol Benjamin roll to the quivery love shivery roof panes.
War, war, you're the warrior.
So I am.
Ben Warrior laughed.
I was thinking of your landlord. Love our money.
He stopped. He wagged huge beard, huge face over his blunder huge.
Sure you'd burst the tympanum of her ear, man.
Mr. Daedalus said through smoke aroma.
With an organ like yours.
In bearded, abundant laughter, Dollard shook upon the keyboard. He would.
Not to mention another membrane. Half time, Ben. Amoroso ma non troppo. Let me there.
Miss Kennedy served two gentlemen with tankards of cool stout. She passed a remark.
It was indeed, first gentleman said, beautiful weather. They drank cool stout. Did she know where the Lord Lieutenant was going?
And heard steel hoofs ring hoof ring.
No, she couldn't say, but it would be in the paper.
Oh, she need not trouble.
No trouble. She waved about her outspread independent, searching.
The Lord Lieutenant.
Her pinnacles of hair slow moving.
Lord Lieutenant.
Too much trouble, first gentleman said.
Oh, not in the least.
Way he looked that, Lord Lieutenant.
Gold by bronze heard iron steel.
My ardent soul, I care not for o'er the morrow.
In liver gravy, Bloom mashed potatoes.
Love and war someone is. Ben Dollard's famous. Night he ran round to us to borrow a dress suit for that concert. Trousers tight as a drum on him. Musical porkers. Molly did laugh when he went out. Threw herself back across the bed, screaming, kicking, with all his belongings on show. Oh, saints above, I'm drenched. Oh, the women in the front row. Oh, I never laughed so many. Well, of course, that's what gives him the bass baritone. For instance, eunuchs. Wonder who's playing. Nice touch. Must be Cowley. Musical. Knows whatever note to play. Bad breath he has, poor chap. Stopped.
Miss Douce, engaging, Lydia Douce, bowed to suave solicitor George Lidwell, gentleman, entering.
Good afternoon.
She gave her moist, a lady's, hand to his firm clasp.
Afternoon.
Yes, she was back to the old ding-dong again.
Your friends are inside, Mr. Lidwell.
George Lidwell, suave, solicited, held a Lydia hand.
Bloom ate live, as said before.
Clean here, at least. That chap in the Burton, gummy with gristle. No one here. Goulding and I. Clean tables, flowers, mitres of napkins. Pat, to and fro. Bald Pat. Nothing to do. Best value in Dub.
Piano again. Cowley it is. Way he sits into it, like one together, mutual understanding. Tiresome shapers scraping fiddles, I on the bow end, sawing the cello, remind you of toothache. Her high, long snore, night we were in the box. Trombone under, blowing like a grampus between the acts. Other brass chap unscrewing, emptying spittle. Conductor's legs too, bags, trousers, jiggity jiggity, do right to hide them.
Jiggity jingle jaunty jaunty.
Only the harp, lovely, gold glowing light. Girl touched it. Poop of a lovely. Gravy's rather good. Fit for a golden ship, Erin. The harp that once or twice. Cool hands. Ben hoth the rhododendrons. We are their harps. I, he, old, young.
I couldn't, man.
Mr. Daedalus said, shy, listless.
Strongly.
Go on, blast you. Get it out in bits.
Ma Paris, Simon.
Downstage, he, Cowley, strode some paces, grave, tall in affliction, his long arms outheld. Hoarsely, the apple of his throat hoarsed softly. Softly he sang to a dusty seascape there, a last farewell. A headland, a ship, a sail upon the billows. Farewell! A lovely girl, her veil a wave upon the wind, upon the headland, whined around her. Cowley sang,
Ma pari tout amor, il mio sguardo l'incontro.
She waved, unhearing Cowley, her veil to one departing, dear one, to wind, love, speeding sail, return.
Go on, Simon.
Sure, my dancing days are done, Ben. Well,
Mr. Daedalus laid his pipe to rest beside the tuning fork, and sitting, touched the obedient keys.
No, Simon.
Father Cowley turned.
Play it in the original, one flat.
The keys, obedient, rose higher, told, faltered, confessed, confused.
Upstage strode Father Cowley.
Here, Simon, I'll accompany you. Get up.
By Graham Lemon's Pineapple Rock, by Elvery's Elephant Jingly Jogged.
Steak, kidney, liver, mashed, at meat fit for princes, sat Princes Bloom and Golding. Princes at meat they raised and drank, power and cider.
Most beautiful tenor air ever written.
Richie said.
Funambula.
He heard Joe Ma sing that one night.
Ah, what McGuckin. Yes, in his way, choir boy style. Moss was the boy.
Moss boy.
A lyrical tenor, if you like. Never forget it. Never.
Tenderly, Bloom over liverless bacon saw the tightened features strain.
Backache, he. Bright eye. Next item on the program. Paying the piper. Pills, pounded bread, worth a guinea a box. Stave it off a while. Things too, down among the dead men, appropriate. Kidney pie, sweets to the, not making much hand of it. Best value and characteristic of him, power, particular about his drink. Flaw in the glass, fresh fartry water. Feckin' matches from counters to save. Then squander a sovereign in dribs and drabs. When he's wanted, not a farthing. Screwed, refusing to pay his fare. Curious types.
Never would Richie forget that night. As long as he lived, never. In the gods of the old royal, with little Peak, and when the first note. Speech paused on Richie's lips.
Coming out with a whopper now. Rhapsodies about damn all. Believes his own lies. Does, really. Wonderful liar. Want a good memory.
Which air is that?
All is lost now.
Richie cocked his lips apout. A low incipient note, sweet banshee murmured, all.
A thrush, a throstle, his breath bird sweet, good teeth he's proud of, fluted with plaintive woe, is lost, rich sound, 2 notes in one there. Blackbird I heard in the Hawthorn Valley, taking my motives he twined and turned. Almost too new call is lost in all. Echo, how sweet the answer. How's that done? All lost now. Mournful he whistled. Lost, fall, surrender, lost.
Bloom bent Leopold ear, turning a fringe of doily down under the vase.
Order, yes, I remember. Lovely air, in sleep she went to him. Innocence in the moon. Brave, don't know their danger. Still, hold her back. Call name. Touch water. Jingle jaunty. Too late, she longed to go. That's why. Woman, as easy stop the sea. Yes, all is lost. A beautiful air,
said Bloom, lost Leopold.
I know it well.
Never in all his life had Richie Golding.
He knows it well too, or he feels, still harping on his daughter. Wise child that knows her father, Daedalus said. Me?
Bloom askance over liverless saw.
Face of the all is lost. Rollicking Richie once, jokes old stale now. Wagging his ear, napkin ring in his eye. Now, begging letters he sends his son with. Cross-eyed Walter, sir, I did, sir. Wouldn't trouble, only I was expecting some money. Apologise. A piano again. Sounds better than the last time I heard. Tuned, probably. Stopped again.
Ballard and Cowley still urged the lingering singer. Out with it.
With it, Simon.
It's Simon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am most deeply obliged by your kind solicitations.
It's Simon.
I have no money, but if you will lend me your attention, I shall endeavor to sing to you of a heart bowed down.
By the sandwich bell in screening shadow, Lydia, her bronze and rose, a lady's grace, gave and withheld.
As in cool glaucous eau de Lyon, Mina to tankards too, her pinnacles of gold. The harping chords of prelude closed, a chord long drawn, expectant, drew a voice away.
When first I saw that form enduring.
Richie turned.
Di Deadless's voice.
Brain-tipped, cheek touched with flame, they listened, feeling that flow endearing, flow over skin, limbs, human heart, soul, spine.
Bloom signed to Pat.
Bald Pat is a waiter, hard of hearing.
To set ajar the door of the bar. The door of the bar.
So, that'll do.
Pat, waiter, waited, waiting to hear, for he was hard of hear by the door.
Sorrow from me seemed to depart.
Through the hush of air, a voice sang to them, low, not rain, not leaves in murmur, like no voice of strings or reeds, or what do you call them? Dulcimers, touching their still ears with words, still hearts of their each his remembered lives. Good, good to hear. Sorrow from them each seemed to from both depart, when first they heard, when first they saw lost Richie Poldy, mercy of beauty, heard from a person wouldn't expect it in the least, her first merciful, love-soft, off-love word.
Love that is singing, love's old sweet song.
Bloom unwound slowly the elastic band of his packet.
Love's old sweet Stonella gold.
Bloom wound a skein round 4 forked fingers, stretched it, relaxed, and round it round his troubled double, fourfold, in octave, jive them fast.
Full of hope and all delighted.
Tenors get women by the score, increase their flow, throw flower at his feet. When will we meet? My head, it's simply jingle all delighted. He can't sing for tall hats. Your head, it simply swirls, perfumed for him. What perfume does your wife? I want to know. Jing, stop, knock. Last look at mirror always before she answers the door. The hall there. How do you do? I do well. There. What are file of cashews, kissing comfits in her satchel? Yes, hands felt for the opulent.
Alas, the voice rose, sighing, changed, loud, full, shining, proud.
But alas, 'twas idle dreaming.
Glorious tone he still has. Cork air softer, also their brogue. Silly man, could have made oceans of money, singing wrong words. Wore out his wife, now sings, but hard to tell. Only the two themselves. If he doesn't break down, keep a trot for the avenue. His hands and feet sing too. Drink, nerves overstrung, must be at steamiest to sing. Jenny Lind soup, stock, sage, raw eggs, half pint of cream, for creamy, dreamy.
Tenderness it welled, slow, swelling, full it throbbed.
That's the chat. Ha! Give, take.
Throb, a pulsing, proud, erect.
Words, music, no, it's what's behind.
Bloom looped, unlooped, noted, disnoted.
Bloom, flood of warm jam, lick it up, secretness, flowed to, flowed in, music out in desire, dark to lick, flow invading, tipping her, tapping her, tapping her, topping her, tap, pours to dilate, dilating, tup, the joy, the feel, the warm, the tup, to pour o'er sluices, pouring gushes, flood, gush, flow, joy, gush, tup, throb, now, language of love.
Ray of hope is.
Beaming, Lydia for Lidwell, squeak scarcely hear, so ladylike, the muse unsqueaked, a ray of hope.
Martha, it is. Coincidence. Just going to write. Lionel's song. Lovely name you have. Can't write, except my little Prez played on her heartstrings, purse strings too. She's I call you naughty boy. Still the name, Martha. How strange, today.
The voice of Lionel returned, weaker but unwearied. It sang again to Richie, Poldy, Lydia, Lidwell, also sang to Pat, open mouth, ear, waiting to wait. How first he saw that form endearing, how sorrow seemed to part, how look, form, word charmed him, Gould, Lidwell, one Pat's Bloom heart.
Wish I could see his face though. Explain better. Why the Barber and Dragos always looked my face when I spoke, his face in the glass. Still hear it better here than in the bar, though further.
Each graceful look.
First night when first I saw her at Matt Dillon's in Terranure. Yellow, black lace she wore. Musical chairs, we two the last. Fate, after her, fate. Round and round, slow, quick round, we two all looked. Halt, down she sat. All ousted looked. Lips laughing, yellow knees.
Charm my eye.
Singing, waiting she sang. I turned her music. Full voice of perfume. Of what perfume does your lilac trees? Bosom I saw, both full throat warbling. First I saw, she thanked me. Why did she me? Fate. Spanishy eyes. Under a pear tree, a lone patio, this hour in old Madrid. One-sided shadow. Dolores, she Dolores, at me. Luring, alluring.
Martha, oh Martha.
Quitting all languor, Lionel cried in grief, in cry of passion dominant, to love, to return with deepening, yet with rising chords of harmony. In cry of Lionel, loneliness, that she should know, must Martha feel. For only her he waited. Where? Here, there, try there, here, all try, where, somewhere.
Come, thou lost one, come, thou dear one.
Alone, one love, one hope, one comfort me, Martha, chestnut, return.
Come.
It soared, a bird, it held its flight, a swift, pure cry, soar, silver orb, it leaped, serene, speeding, sustained, to come. Don't spin it out too long, long breath, he breath, long life, soaring high, high resplendent of flame, crowned, high in the effulgence symbolistic, high of the ethereal bosom, high of the high vast irradiation everywhere, all soaring, all around about, the all, the endlessness.
To me.
Seopold.
Consumed. Come, well sung, all clapped. She ought to. Come to me, to him, to her, you too, me, us.
Bravo.
Clap, clap.
Good man, Simon.
Clappy clap clap.
Encore. Clap, clip, clap.
Sound as a bell. Bravo, Simon.
Clap clap clap.
Encore. On clap.
Said, cried, clapped all. Ben Dollard, Lydia Deuce, George Lidwell, Pat, Mina Kennedy, two gentlemen with two tankards, Cowley, first gent with tank, and bronze Miss Deuce, and gold Miss Mina.
Blazes Boylan's smart tin shoes creaked on the bar floor, said before. Jingle by monuments of Sir John Gray, Horatio One-Handled Nelson, Reverend Father Theobald Matthew, jaunted as said before just now. A trot and heat-seated, cloche, sonnez-la, cloche, sonnez-la. Slower the mare went, up the hill by the rotunda, Rutland Square. Too slow for Boylan, Blazes Boylan, Impatience Boylan, joggled the mare.
An after clang of Cowley's chords closed, died on the air, made richer.
And Richie Goulding drank his power.
And Leopold Bloom his cider drank.
Lidwell his Guinness.
Second gentleman said they would partake of 2 more tankards if she did not
Miss
mind.
Kennedy smirked, disserving coral lips at first, at second. She did not mind.
7 days in jail on bread and water. Then you'd sing, Simon, like a garden thrush.
Lionel Simon Singer laughed.
Father Bob Cowley played. Mina Kennedy served.
Second gentleman paid.
Tom Kernan strutted in.
Lydia admired.
But Bloom sang dumb.
Admiring. Richie, admiring, descanted on that man's glorious voice. He remembered one night long ago.
Never forget that night. Cy sang.
'Twas rank and fame.
In Ned Lambert's 'twas.
Good God, he never heard in all his life a note like that. He never did.
Then false one, we had better part.
So clear so, God, he had never.
Since love lives not.
A clinking voice lives not.
Ask Lambert. He can tell you too.
Golding, a flush struggling in his pale.
Told Mr. Bloom.
Face of the night.
Cy, in Ned Lambert's.
Daedalus house.
Sang.
'Twas rank and fame.
He, Mr. Bloom, listened while he, Richie Golding, told him, Mr. Bloom, of the night he, Richie, heard him, Cy Daedalus, sing.
'Twas rank and fame.
In his, Ned Lambert's, house.
Brothers-in-law, relations. We never speak as we pass by. Rift in the lute, I think. Treats him with scorn, see. He admires him all the more. The night Cy sang. The human voice, 2 tiny silky chords, wonderful, more than all others.
That voice was a lamentation. Calmer now. It's in the silence after you feel, you hear vibrations. Now, silent air.
Bloom jived his crisscrossed hands and with slack fingers plucked the slender catgut thongs. He drew and plucked. It buzzed. It twanged.
While Golding talked of Bearclough's voice production.
While Tom Kernan, harking back in a retrospective sort of arrangement, talked to.
Listening, Father Cowley, who played a voluntary, who nodded as he played.
While Big Ben Dollard talked with Simon Daedalus, lighting, who nodded as he smoked, who smoked.
Thou lost one. All songs on that theme.
Yet more Bloom stretched his string.
Cruel it seems. Let people get fond of each other, lure them on, then tear asunder. Death, explode, knock on the head, out to hell out of that. Human life. Dig them. Ugh, that rat's tail wriggling. 5 bob I gave. Corpus paradisum. Corn crate coker. Belly like a poisoned pup. Gone. They sing, forgotten. I too, and one day she with. Leave her, get tired, suffer then, snivel, big Spanishy eyes goggling at nothing. Her wavy, heavy hair uncombed. Yet too much happy bores.
He stretched more.
Are you not happy in your...
Bang! It snapped.
Jingle into Dorset Street.
Miss Douce withdrew her satiny arm, reproachful, pleased.
Don't make half so free, till we are better acquainted.
George Lidwell told her really and truly.
But she did not believe.
First gentleman told Mina that was so.
She asked him, was that so?
And second tankard told her so.
That was so.
Miss Douce, Miss Lydia, did not believe.
Miss Kennedy, Mina, did not believe.
George Lidwell, no.
Miss Dew did not. The first.
Gent with the tank, believe, no, did not.
Miss Ken.
Lydia well.
The tank.
Better write it here. Quills in the post office chewed and twisted.
Bald Pat at a sign drew nigh. A pen and ink. He went. A pad. He went. A pad to blot. He heard deaf Pat.
Yes.
Mr. Bloom said, teasing the curling catgut line.
It certainly is.
A few lines will do. My present.
All that Italian flowered music is. Who's this wrote? Know the name. You know better.
Take out sheet notepaper. Envelope. Unconcerned.
It's so characteristic.
Grandest number in the whole opera.
It is.
Numbers it is. All music, when you come to think of it. 2 multiplied by 2 divided by half. It's twice 1. Vibrations. Chords, those are. 1 plus 2 plus 6 is 7. Do anything you like with figures, juggling. Always find out this equal to that. Symmetry under a cemetery wall. He doesn't see my morning. Callous. All for his own gut. Muse mathematics. And you think you're listening to the ethereal. But suppose you said it like, Martha, 7 times 9 minus x is 35,000. Fall quite flat. It's on account of the sound it is. Instance, he's playing now, improvising. Might be what you like, till you hear the words. Want to listen, sharp, hard. Begin all right, then hear chords, a bit off. Feel lost a bit, in and out of sacks, over barrels, through wire fences, obstacle race. Time makes the tune. Question of mood you're in. Still, always nice to hear. Except scales, up and down, girls learning, 2 together, next door neighbours. Ought to invent dummy pianos for that. Bloomin' lead I bought for her, the name. Playing it slow, a girl. Night I came home, the girl. Door of the stables near Cecilia Street. Millie, no taste, queer, 'cause we both,
Bald deaf Pat brought quite flat pad ink. Pat set with ink pen, quite flat pad. Pat took plate, dish, knife, fork. Pat went.
It was the only language.
Mr. Dedalus said to Ben,
I heard them as a boy in Ringabella, Crosshaven, Ringabella, singing their barcarolles. Queenstown, harbor full of Italian ships. Walking, you know, Ben, in the moonlight with those earthquake hats, blending their voices. God, such music, Ben. Heard as a boy, cross Ringabella, Haven, Moon Carol.
sour pipe removed, he held a shield of hand beside his lips that cooed a moonlight night call, clear from anear, a call from afar, replying. Down the edge of his Freeman baton ranged Blooms.
Your other eye.
Scanning for.
Oh, where did I see that? Callan, Coleman, Dignam Patrick. Hey-ho, Fawcett. Aha, just as I was looking. Hope he's not looking. Cute as a rat.
He held unfurled his Freeman.
Can't see now. Remember, write Greek E's.
Bloom dipped.
Bloomer. Dear Sir.
Dear Henry wrote.
Dear Maddie, got your letter and flow. Hell did I put some pock earl. It's an utterland pos, underland pos, to write today. Bore this.
Bored Bloom, tambourine gently with.
I'm just reflecting.
Fingers on flat pad, Pat brought.
On, know what I mean? No, change that E. Accept my poor lit prez and close. Ask her, no, hold on, 5, 2, about here. Penny, the gulls. Elijah is come, 7. Davy Burns, is 8 about? Say half a crown. My poor little prez, P.O., 2 and 6. Write me along, do you despise? Jingle, have you the, so excited. Why do you call me not? You naughty too? Oh, Mary lost the string of her. Bye for today. Yes, we'll tell you. Want to. Keep it up. Call me that other word, she wrote. My patience are exhaust to keep it up. You must believe, the tank. It is true.
Molly, am I writing? Husbands don't. That's marriage does. Their wives. Because I'm away from, suppose. But how she must keep young if she found out. Card in my high-grade hat. No, not tell all. Useless pain. If they don't see. Woman, sauce for the gander.
Hackney car number 324, driver Barton James of number 1 Harmony Avenue, Donnybrook, on which sat a fair, a young gentleman stylishly dressed in an indigo blue serge suit made by George Robert Messias, tailor and cutter, of number 5 Eden Quay, and wearing a straw hat, very dressy, bought of John Plasto of number 1 Great Brunswick Street, Hatter.
This is the jingle that juggled and jingled.
By Dlugoch Pork Shop, bright tubes of Agendath trotted a gallant buttocked mare.
Answering an ad?
In Richie's eyes, asked Bloom.
Yes, town traveller. Nothing doing, I expect.
Blue, myrrh, best references. But Henry wrote, "It will excite me." You know how, in haste. Henry, Greek E. Better add postscript. What is he playing now? Improvising? Intermezzo? P.S. The rum-tum-tum. How will you pun? You punish me? Crooked skirt swinging, whack by. Tell me, I want to. No. Oh. Course, if I didn't, I wouldn't ask. La 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 re trails off there. Sad in minor. Why minor sad? Sign H. They like sad tale at end. PPS. La 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 re. I feel so sad today. La re. So lonely. D.
He blotted quick on pad of Pat.
Envelope address. Just copy out of paper.
Murmured.
Messrs. Cullen, Coleman and Co. Limited.
Henry wrote,
Miss Martha Clifford, care of P.O., Dolphin's Barn Lane, Dublin.
Blot over the other so he can't read. There. Right. Idea prize, tidbit. Something detective read off a blotting pad. Payment at the rate of guineas per cow. Matcham often thinks the laughing witch. Poor Mrs. Purify. U.P. up.
Too poetical, that about the sad. Music did that. Music hath charms, Shakespeare said. Quotations every day in the year. To be or not to be. Wisdom while you wait. In Gerard's Rosary of Fetter Lane he walks, grey-eyed auburn. One life is all, one body, do but do.
Done, anyhow. Postal order, stamp. Post office, lower down. Walk now. Enough. Barney Kiernan's, I promised to meet them. Dislike that job. House of mourning, walk.
Pat.
Doesn't hear, deaf beatly is. Car near there now. Talk.
Pat.
Doesn't. Settling those napkins. Lot of ground he must cover in the day. Paint face behind on him, then he'd be two. Wish they'd sing more. Keep my mind off.
Bald Pat, who is bothered, mitered the napkins.
Pat is a waiter, hard of his hearing. Pat is a waiter who waits while you wait. He waits while you wait. He. A waiter is he. He. He waits while you wait. If you wait, he will wait while you wait. Ho, wait while you wait.
Deuce now, Deuce Lydia, bronze and rose. She had a gorgeous, simply gorgeous time, and look at the lovely shells she brought. To the end of the bar, to him she bore lightly the spiked and winding sea horn that he, George Lidwell, solicitor, might hear. She bade him.
Under Tom Kernan's gin-hot words, the accompanist wove music slow.
Authentic fact. How Walter Bapty lost his voice. Well, sir, the husband took him by the throat. Scoundrel, said he, you'll sing no more love songs. He did, faith, Sir Tom.
Bob Kelly wove.
Can us get one?
Kelly laid back.
Ah, now he heard, she holding it to his ear.
Here.
He heard.
Wonderful.
She held it to her own.
And through the sifted light, pale gold in contrast glided, to hear.
Tap.
Moon through the bar door saw a shell held at their ears. He heard more faintly that they heard, each for herself alone, then each for other, hearing the plash of waves, loudly a silent roar.
Bronze by a weary gold, anear, afar they listened.
Her ear too is a shell, the peeping lobe there. Been to the seaside, lovely seaside girls, skin tanned raw. Should have put on cold cream first, make it brown. Buttered toast. Oh, and that lotion, mustn't forget. Fever near her mouth. Your head, it's simply hair braided over, shell with seaweed. Why do they hide their ears with seaweed hair? And Turks, the mouth, why? Her eyes over the sheet. Yashmak, find the way in. A cave, no admittance except on business. The sea, they think they hear. Singing, a roar, the blood it is. Souse in the ear sometimes. Well, it's a sea, corpuscle islands.
Wonderful, really. So distinct. Again.
George Lidwell held its murmur, hearing, then laid it by, gently.
What are the wild waves saying?
He asked her, smiled. Charming, sea smiling and unanswering, Lydia on Lidwell smiled.
Tap.
By Larry O'Rourke's, by Larry, Bo Larry O. Boylan swayed and Boylan turned.
From the forsaken shell, Miss Mina glided to her tankards waiting.
No, she was not so lonely. Archly, Miss Douce's head let Mr. Lidwell know. Walks in the moonlight by the sea. No, not alone. With whom? She nobly answered, with a gentleman friend.
Bob Cowley's twinkling fingers in the treble played again. The landlord has the prior, a little time, Long John, Big Ben. Lightly he played a light, bright, tinkling measure for tripping ladies, arch and smiling, and for their gallants, gentlemen friends. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4.
Sea, wind, leaves, thunder, water, cows lowing, the cattle market, cocks, hens don't crow, snakes hiss. There's music everywhere. Rutledge's door, creaking. No, that's noise. Minuet of Don Giovanni he's playing now. Court dresses of all descriptions in castle chambers dancing. Misery, peasants looking outside. Green, starving faces eating dock leaves. Nice that. Look, 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 look. You look at us. That's joyful I can feel. Never have written it. Why? My joy is other joy, but both are joys. Yes, joy it must be. Mere fact of music shows you are. Often thought she was in the dumps till she began to lilt. Then no. McCoy Valise, my wife and your wife, squealing cat like tearing silk. Tongue when she talks like the clapper of a bellows. They can't manage men's intervals. Gap in their voices too. Fill me, I'm warm, dark, open. Molly in quis est homo, mercadante. My ear against the wall to hear. Want a woman who can deliver the goods.
Jog, jig, jogged, stopped. Dandy tan shoe of dandy Boylan socks. Sky blue clocks came light to earth.
Oh, look, we are so. Chamber music could make a kind of pun on that. It is a kind of music, I often thought, when acoustics that is, tinkling. Empty vessels make most noise, because the acoustics, the resonance changes according as the weight of the water is equal to the law of falling water. Like those rhapsodies of Liszt's, Hungarian, gypsy-eyed, pearls, drops, rain, diddle, iddle, addle, addle, oodle, oodle, hiss. Now, maybe now, before. One rapped on a door, one tapped with a knock. Did he knock Paul de Kock with a browed knocker with a cock, cara, 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 cock, cock, cock?
Tap.
Kizenyo de Ben.
No, Ben.
Tom Kernan interfered.
The crappie boy, our native Doric.
I do, Ben. Good men and true.
Do, they begged in one.
I'll go. Here, Pat, return. Come. He came, he did not stay. To me, how much?
What key? 6 sharps?
F sharp major.
Bob Kelly's outstretched talons gripped the black, deep-sounding chords.
Must go.
Prince Bloom told Richie Prince.
No.
Yes, must.
Got money somewhere. He's on for a ravel back spree. Much. He, see, hears, lip speech.
1 and 9, penny for yourself.
Here, give him 2pence tip. Deaf, bothered. But perhaps he has wife and family waiting. Waiting Patty come home. Deaf wait while they wait. But here, chords, dark, lugubrious, low in a cave of the dark middle earth, embedded o'er lump music.
The voice of dark age, of unlove, earth's fatigue made grave approach and painful come from afar, from hoary mountains, call on good men and true. The priest he sought, with him would he speak a word.
Tap.
Ben Dollard's voice, bass barrel tone, doing his level best to say it. Croak of vast, manless, moonless, womoonless marsh, other come down. Big ships chandler's business he did once. Remember, Rosny ropes, ship's lanterns, failed to the tune of £10,000. Now in the Ivy home, cubicle number so-and-so. Number 1 bass did that for him.
The priests at home, a false priest servant bade him welcome. Step in, the Holy Father, with bows a traitor servant, curlicues of cords.
Ruin them, wreck their lives, then build them cubicles to end their days in. Hushabye, lullaby, die, dog, little dog, die.
The voice of warning, solemn warning, told them the youth had entered a lonely hall, told them how solemn fell his footsteps there, told them the gloomy chamber, the vested priests sitting to shrive.
Decent soul, bit addled now, thinks he'll win in Answer's poet's picture puzzle. We hand you crisp £5 note. Bird sitting hatching in a nest. Lay of the last minstrel, he thought it was. C-T, what domestic animal? T-R, most courageous mariner. Good voice he still has. No eunuch yet, with all his belongings.
Listen.
Bloom listened.
Richie Golding listened.
And by the door, deaf Pat, bald Pat, tipped Pat listened.
The chords harped slower. The voice of penance and of grief came slow, embellished, tremulous. Ben's contrite beard confessed.
In nomine Domini.
In God's name, he knelt. He beat his hand upon his breast, confessing.
Mea culpa.
Latin again, that holds them like birdlime. Priest with the communion corpus for those women. Chap in the mortuary, coffin or coffee. Corpus nomine. Wonder where that rat is by now. Scrape.
How?
They listened. Tankards and Miss Kennedy. George Lidwell, eyelid well expressive, full busted satin. Kernan. Sigh.
The sighing voice of sorrow sang his sins. Since Easter, he had cursed 3 times.
You bitches bast.
And once at mass time he had gone to play. Once by the churchyard he had passed, and for his mother's rest he had not prayed. A boy, a croppy boy.
Bronze, listening by the beer pole, gazed far away, soulfully.
Doesn't half know I'm Molly, great dab at seeing anyone looking.
Bronze gazed far sideways.
Mirror there. Is that best side of her face? They always know. Knock at the door. Last tip to tiffany.
Ah, cara cara. What do they think when they hear music? Way to catch rattlesnakes. Night Michael Gunn gave us the box. Tuning up, Shah of Persia liked that best. Remind him of Home Sweet Home. Wiped his nose in curtain too. Custom his country perhaps. That's music too. Not as bad as it sounds. Tootling, brasses, braying asses through up trunks. Double basses, helpless, gashes in their sides. Woodwinds, mooing cows. Semi-grand, open crocodile. Music hath jaws. Woodwind like Goodwin's name. She looked fine. Her crocus dress she wore low-cut, belongings on show. Clove her breath was always in theatre when she bent to ask a question. Told her what Spinoza says in that book of poor papas. Hypnotized, listening, eyes like that. She bent, chap in dress circle, staring down into her with his opera glass for all he was worth. Beauty of music you must hear twice. Nature woman, half a look. God made the country, man the tune. Metempsychosis, philosophy, oh rocks.
All gone, all fallen, at the siege of Ross his father, at Gorey all his brothers fell. To Wexford, we are the boys of Wexford, he would, last of his name and race.
I too, last of my race. Millie, young student, well, my fault perhaps, no son. Rudy, too late now, or if still.
He bore no hate.
Hate, love, those are names. Rudy, soon I am old.
Big Ben, his voice unfolded.
Great voice.
Richie Goulding said, a flush struggling in his pale, to bloom soon old, but when was young.
Ireland comes now, my country above the king. She listens. Who fears to speak of 1904? Time to be shoving. Looked enough.
Bless me, Father.
Dollard the croppy cried.
Bless me and let me go.
How?
Bloom looked unblessed to go.
Got up to kill on 18 bob a week. Fellow shells out the dibs. Want to keep your weather eye open. Those girls, those lovely, by the sad sea waves. Chorus girls' romance, letters read out for breach of promise, from Chickabiddy's own Mumpsy Pum, laughter in court. Henry, I never signed it. The lovely name you.
Low sank the music, air, and words, then hastened, the false priest, rustling soldier from his cassock, a yeoman captain.
They know it all by heart. The thrill they itch for, yeoman cap.
Tap, tap.
Thrilled, she listened, bending in sympathy to hear.
Blank face, virgin should say, or fingered only. Write something on it, page. If not, what becomes of them? Decline the spare, keeps them young, even admire themselves. See, play on her, lip blow, body of white woman, a flute alive. Blow gentle, loud, 3 holes all women. Goddess I didn't see, they wanted, not too much polite. That's why he gets them. Gold in your pocket, brass in your face. Say something, make her hear, with look to look. Songs without words. Molly, that hurdy-gurdy boy, she knew he meant the monkey was sick, or because so, like the Spanish. Understand animals too that way. Solomon did, gift of nature. Ventriloquize, my lips closed, think in my stump, what? Will you, I want you too.
With hoarse rude fury the yeoman cursed, swelling in apoplectic bitch's bastard. A good thought, boy, to come. 1 hour's your time to live, your last.
Tap, tap.
Thrill now, pity they feel, to wipe away a tear from martyrs that want to, dying to die. For all things dying, for all things born. Poor Mrs. Purefoy, hope she's over, because they are wombs.
A liquid of womb, of woman eyeball, gazed under offensive lashes, calmly, hearing.
See, real beauty of the eye, when she not speaks. On yonder river, at each slow satiny heaving bosom's wave, her heaving embon, red rose, rose slowly, sank red rose. Heartbeats, her breath that is life, and all the tiny, tiny fern foils trembled of maiden hair. But look, the bright stars fade. O Rose, Castile, the morn, ha, Lidwell. For him, then not for, infatuated. I like that. See her from here, though. Popped corks, splashes of beer froth, stacks of empties.
On the smooth jutting beer pull laid Lydia hand, lightly, plumply.
Leave it to my hands, all lost in pity for Croppy.
Fro, to, fro, over the polished knob.
She knows his eyes, my eyes, her eyes.
Her thumb and finger passed in pity, passed, reposed, and gently touching, then slid so slowly, smoothly, down, a cool, firm white enamel baton, protruding through their sliding ring.
With a cock, with a cara.
Tap, tap, tap.
I hold this house, amen. He gnashed in fury, traitors swing. The chords consented, very sad thing, but had to be.
Get out before the end. Thanks, that was heavenly. Where's my hat? Pass by her. Can leave that, Freeman. Let her I have. Suppose she were the... No, walk, walk, walk. Like Cashel, Boilo, Conero, Coilo, Tizone, Morris, Tristral, Farrell, walk.
Well, I must be...
Are you off?
Well, must buy us Bloomsday.
Or rye high blue.
Ow.
Bloom stood up.
So, feeling rather sticky behind. Must have sweated. Music. That lotion, remember.
Well, so long.
High grade. Card inside. Yes.
By deaf Pat in the doorway, straining ear, Bloom passed.
At Geneva Barrack, that young man died. At Passage was his body laid. Dolor, oh, he Dolores, the voice of the mournful chanter called to dolorous prayer.
By rose, by satiny bosom, by the fondling hand, by slops, by empties, by pop corks, greeting and going, past eyes and maiden hair, bronze and faint gold in deep sea shadow, went Bloom, soft Bloom, I feel so lonely Bloom.
Tap, tap, tap.
Pray for him, prayed the bass of Dollard, you who hear in peace. Breathe a prayer, drop a tear, Good men, good people, he was the croppy boy.
Scaring eavesdropping boots, croppy boots boy. Bloom in the Ormond hallway heard the growls and roars of bravo, fat back slapping, their boots all treading, boots not the boots, the boy.
The general chorus off for a swill to wash it down. Glad I avoided.
Come on, Ben. By God, you're as good as ever you were.
Better.
Said Tom Gin Kernan.
Most trenchant rendition of that ballad upon my soul and honor it is.
La Blash.
Ben Dollard bulkily cuttershud toward the bar, mightily praise-fed and all big roseate, on heavy-footed feet, his gouty fingers knackering castagnettes in the air.
Big Ben Dollard, big Ben, big Ben,
And deep moved all, Simon trumping compassion from foghorn nose, all laughing, they brought him forth, Ben Dollard, in right good cheer.
You're licking Rubicund.
Miss Douce composed for Rose to wait.
Ben McCree,
said Mr. Daedalus, clapping Ben's fat back shoulder blade.
Fit as a fiddle, only has a lot of adipose tissue concealed about his person.
Fat of death, Simon.
$10 growled.
Richie riffed in the lute alone sat, Golding Collis Ward. Uncertainly he waited.
Unpaid Pat, too.
Tap, 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 tap.
Miss Mina Kennedy brought near her lips to ear of tankard one. Mr. Dollard, they murmured low.
Dollard murmured tankard. Tank one believed, Miss Ken, when she, that doll he was, she, doll, the tank. He murmured that he knew the name was familiar to him, that is to say he had heard the name of Dollard, was it?
Dollard, yes.
Yes.
Her lips said more loudly.
Mr. Dollard, he sang that song lovely. Mr. Dollard, and the last rose of summer was a lovely song.
Mina loved that song.
Tankard loved the song, that Mina.
Here's the last rose of summer, Dollard left, Bloom felt, wind wound round inside.
Gassy thing, that cider. Binding, too. Wait, post office near Reuben J's. 1 and 8pence, too. Get shut of it. Dodge round by Greek Street. Wish I hadn't promised to meet. Freer in air. Music gets on your nerves. Beer pull. Her hand that rocks the cradle rules the Ben Holt that rules the world.
Far, 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 far.
Tap, 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 tap.
Up the key went Lionel Leopold, naughty Henry, with letter for Maddie, with sweets of sin, with frillies for Raoul. With met him pike hoses went Poldy on.
Tap, blind walking, tapping, by the tap, the curbstone tapping, tap by tap.
Cowley, he stuns himself with it. Kind of drunkenness. Better give way, only halfway. The way of a man with a maid. Instant enthusiasts. All ears. Not lose a demi-semi-quaver. Eyes shut, head nodding in time. Dotty. You daren't budge. Thinking strictly prohibited. Always talking shop. Fiddle-faddle about notes.
All a kind of attempt to talk. Unpleasant when it stops because you never know exact. Organ in Gardner Street. Old Glynn, 50 quid a year. We're up there in the cockloft alone with stops and locks and keys. Seated all day at the organ. Maunder on for hours talking to himself or the other fellow blowing the bellows. Growl angry, then shriek cursing. Want to have wadding or something in his... No, don't, she cried. Then all of a sudden, wee little pipey wind.
Wee, a wee little wind piped ee, and in Bloom's little e.
Was he?
Mr. Daedalus said, returning with fetching pipe.
I was with him this morning at poor little Paddy Dignam's.
Aye, the Lord have mercy on him.
By the by, there's a tuning fork in there on the...
Tap, 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 tap.
The wife has a fine voice, or had. What?
That must be the tuner.
Lydia said to Simon Lionel.
First I saw. Forgot it when he was here.
Blind he was, she told George Lidwell. Second I saw, and played so exquisitely. Treat to hear. exquisite contrast, bronze lid, Mina gold.
Shout.
And Dollard shouted, pouring.
Sing out.
Will do.
I feel I want.
Tap, 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 tap.
Very.
Mr. Daedalus said, staring hard at a headless sardine.
Under the sandwich bell lay on a bier of bread, one lonely, last sardine of summer. Bloom alone.
Very. The lower register for choice.
Tap, 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 tap.
Bloom went by berries.
Oh, wish I could. Wait, that wonder worker, if I had 24 solicitors in that one house, counted them, litigation, love one another, piles of parchment, Messrs. Pick and Pocket of power of attorney, Goulding, Collis, Ward.
But for example, the chap that wallops the big drum, his vocation, Mickey Rooney's band. Wonder how it first struck him, sitting at home after pig's cheek and cabbage, nursing it in an armchair, rehearsing his band part. Pom pompity, jolly for the wife, asses' skins, welcome through life, then wallop after death. Pom wallop seems to be what you call yashmak, kismet, fate.
Tap, tap.
A stripling blind with a tapping cane came tap, tap, tapping by Daly's window, where a mermaid hair all streaming, but he couldn't see, blew whiffs of a mermaid, blind couldn't. Mermaid, coolest whiff of all.
Instruments, a blade of grass, shell of her hands, then blow. Even comb and tissue paper you can knock a tune out of. Molly in her shift in Lombard Street West, hair down. I suppose that each kind of trade made its own, don't you see? Hunter with a horn, haw, have you the cloche, sonne la, shepherd his pipe, wee, little wee. Policeman a whistle, locks and keys, sweep, 4 o'clocks, all well. Sleep, all is lost now. Drum, pumpety, wait, I know. Town crier, bum bailiff, Long John, waken the dead, pum, dignum, poor little nomine domine, pum, this music. Of course, it's all pum, 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 very much what they call da capo. Still, you can hear, as we march along, pum.
I must really now. If I did that at a banquet, just a question of custom, Shah Persia. Breathe a prayer, drop a tear, all the same. He must have been a bit of a natural. Not to see with a yeoman cap, muffled up. Wonder who was that chap at the grave in the brown mackin? No. Oh, the whore of the lane.
A frowsy whore with a black straw sailor hat askew came glazily in the day along the quay towards Mr. Bloom.
When first he saw that form endearing.
Yes, it is. I feel so lonely. Wet night in the lane. Horn. Who had the he-haw, she-saw off her beat here? What is she? Hope she... Psst. Any chance of a wash? New Molly. Had me decked. Stout lady does be with you in the brown costume. Put you off your stroke, that. Appointment we made, knowing we'd never hardly ever. Too dear, too near to home, to sweet home. Sees me, does she? Looks a fright in the day, face like dip, damn her. Oh well, she has to live like the rest. Look in here.
In Lionel Mark's antique sales shop window, haughty Henry, Lionel Leopold, dear Henry Flower, earnestly Mr. Leopold Bloom, envisaged battered candlesticks, melodeon, oozing maggoty blow bags.
Bargain, 6 bob, might learn to play. Cheap, let her pass. Of course, everything is dear if you don't want it. That's what good salesman is. Make you buy what he wants to sell. Chap sold me the Swedish razor he shaved me with. Wanted to charge me for the edge he gave it. She's passing now. 6 bob.
Oh, must be the cider, or perhaps the Burgund.
Near bronze from near gold from afar, they clinked their clinking glasses all, bright-eyed and gallant, before bronze Lydia's tempting last rose of summer, Rose of Castile. First lid, cow, cur, doll, a 5th, Lidwell, side Daedalus, Bob Cowley, Kernan, and big Ben Dollard.
Tap.
A youth entered a lonely Ormond hall.
Bloom viewed a gallant pictured hero in Lionel Mark's window.
Robert Emmett's last words, 7 last words of Meyerbeer, that is.
True men, like you men,
Aye, Ben.
will lift your glass with us.
They lifted.
Chink!
Tip.
An unseeing stripling stood in the door. He saw not bronze, he saw not gold, nor Ben, nor Bob, nor Tom, nor Cy, nor George, nor Tanks, nor Richie, nor Pat. He did not see.
See Bloom, Grease-a-Bloom viewed last words.
Softly.
When my country takes her place among
Must be the burr.
nations of the earth,
No one behind. She's past.
then and not till then.
Tram.
Cran.
Good upper. Coming.
Randall, cran.
I'm sure it's the Bergen. Yes. 1, 2.
Let my epitaph be written I have.
Done.
Well, thank you everybody for enjoying the reading with us. This year's chapter was the Sirens, and your readers were narrators Claudia Finn, Irene Calvo, Bruce Greeley, and Ian Edgewater. Miss Lydia Bronze-Deuce was Olivia Birmingham McDonough. Miss Mina Gold Kennedy was read by Ellen Coyle. Bloom was read by Maura Donegan. Bloom Interior was read by Mark Gunning and Maura Donegan. Simon Dedalus was read by Bill Barnes. Lenihan was read by Leon Matagosh. Blazes Boylan and Ben Dollard were read by me, Joseph Ryan. Father Cowley was read by Lynn Compton. George Lidwell was read by Leon Matagosh. Richie Golding was read by Roger Berger. Boots was read by Joseph Ryan. Robert Emmett by Bill Barnes. Tom Kernan by Roger Berger. Stripling by Roger Berger. Shop Girl by Ellen Coyle. And the conductor was Roger Berger. Our production people were co-director Lynn Compton, co-director Roger Berger, script George Riley, recorder Joseph Ryan, recording editor Helen Brew, publicity Claudia Finn, George Riley. The poster was painted by Ellen Coyle and modified and updated with our schedule by Leon Matagosh and Claudia Finn. And special thanks to Matthew Donegan Ryan. And now we'll finish with an oft-referenced song from the chapter, The Crappie Boy, which will be sung by Bill Barnes. Go ahead, Bill.
Good men and true in this house do dwell. To a stranger buccal I pray you tell. Is a priest at home or may he be seen? I would speak a word with Father Green. At the siege of Ross did my father fall, and at Gorey my loving brothers all. I alone am left to my name and race. I will go to Wexford to take their place. I bear no hate against living thing, but I love my country above my king. Now, Father, bless me and let me go to die if God has ordained it so. At Geneva barracks that young man died, and at Passage they have his body laid. Good people who live in peace and joy, breathe a prayer, shed a tear for the crappie